I woke up this early morning and I went through my usual routine, which is to read through my Bible. And something caught my attention in Matthew chapter 13, the parable of the sower. And I got insights. While I was reading it, it was as if I was reading it for the first time in my life, despite my CRS exploits in the secondary school and my numerous Bible studies in various churches I've attended. But this parable of the sower in Matthew chapter 13 from our great Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, he said something very striking. Those parables were very striking. And one of the most important things, I started thinking deeply about what this parable, how I can relate this parable to security dealings and security operations or security management, as the case may be. And I got these insights. And this is why I am doing this video today, to give you insights on the topic for today. So today's topic is talking about security professional as a sower. And this is gotten from Matthew chapter 13, from the parable of Jesus Christ, the parable of the sower, which Jesus Christ talked about. If you noticed, in the parable, he gave a parable of a sower which that went about and sowing seed. The first seed fell on the wayside. So we'll be taking the seed one after the other. So seed one fell on the wayside. And when it fell on the wayside, what happened? The birds came and took it away. Now, how do we relate this to security operations or professionalism? It talks about, this passage emphasizes the danger of poor documentation or procrastination. As security professionals, most of the time, we move about, we observe things, we see changes in our environment, we see bad procedures, we see bad actions taken by our guards, we even see personnel, employees of that organization from different departments doing things which are wrong, and we do not take details into these things. We do not take into account these actions and these behaviors and these changes in our environment. Sometimes we take note of it and we say we're going to record it later. In the course of we recording it later, what happens? We forget intricate details of this incident. And that is why, while growing up as a security professional in this career, in this industry, I discovered that during one of our lectures, my then chief security officer used to encourage us to have what they call a pocket notebook. Now, the pocket notebook helps us to take details of happenings in real time, because the human brain cannot remember all that it sees. There are some details that will be missing. And for you, remember, as a security professional, if you want to write a detailed and good report, you must emphasize the 5W and 1H. And if you don't speak details in this report, if you don't have the 5W, 1H in your report, most likely your report will be incomplete. So the first seed that fell on the ground tells us that we should not postpone what we're supposed to do now for later, else we'll miss intricate details and it will make our work look shabby and unprofessional. So I'll end the first point of this, the first seed, by saying that when you delay your documentation, you only give your adversary time to plan and to take advantage of those lost memories that you were supposed to capture in your pocket notebook. So seed 2 talks about the stony ground. Now, this stony ground, the seed that fell on the stony ground, it talks about in-depth insecurity. Most of us, most security professionals, we start good, yes. So that seed fell on stony ground. What happened was that it began to sprout, meaning that it started to grow. But because it fell on the ground, it did not have depth. Remember, on the ground, there are some element of soil on the ground. But because the seed does not have depth, its roots could not go down into the ground to gain strength, it could not grow. It died after some time. And this is what happens. As security professional, most of the time, we find ourselves in positions where we get promoted for one good work or the other. And because of that, we're placed in positions most times that we are not prepared for. And what happens in this kind of position? We end up making a lot of errors. This is an opportunity when you are being promoted to a position where probably the responsibility is greater, and probably because of one action or the other, one good work or the other that you have contributed to the organization that made them to see you fit for the next position. It is an opportunity for you to develop yourself as a security professional. Don't just ride on that glory, that cloud of glory and praise, and relax and think that you have arrived. That is an opportunity for you to expand your knowledge, to begin to understand the landscape and the operations where you find yourself. Begin to understand the relationships that you should keep, the kind of records you should have, the kind of documentations you should have, the kind of, in fact, and you cannot get this except through what? Proper training, except through what? Networking with the right persons, except through what? Reading things that can give you insights. In today's world, we have a lot of materials all over the internet where you can read about security operations, security management, and all kinds of security niches and specialization. Take your time. When you are being promoted into a new position, it's an opportunity for you to gain depth. If you don't gain depth, you will be like the seed that fell on stony ground, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you're dead. And your career ends there. Don't be like that seed. So I'll end this by saying what? Exposure without depth is what? A liability. Exposure without depth is a liability. So don't be a liability to yourself or to your organization or to the person who has seen the little good in you and wants the light to shine brighter, and you kill it because of your own carelessness or your own ignorance. Okay, so move straight to the third seed. The third seed fell in the midst of what? Thorns. And this third seed emphasizes the danger of wrong association. You must understand that when you are in leadership position in security, or you find yourself in any position within the security hierarchy, you must understand that wrong people will come to you. Bad people with bad advice, bad mentorship, all sorts of strategy that will even bring you down. Be wise to discern. This is where you need discerning spirits, the good discerning spirit of the Holy Spirit. This is where you need to think deep. This is where you need to collaborate with others to get the right things. But in collaborating, get the right persons to collaborate with. So you don't fall a victim of leadership with weak and evil people around you. I've seen people grown in this security industry and all of a sudden they fell like a pack of cards. Why? Bad advice, wrong association. Do not find yourself among wrong association. Do you notice how the guards and the security managers in most organizations grow, and how the guards in that same organization grow, despite the fact that they have the security manager or the chief security officer as their mentor or somebody they can see and learn from, but they never learn. The guards most times do not grow. Why? Wrong association. You try to put a guard in a group where he can learn things and also implement those things at work. He sees it as, I can't invest that kind of money in myself, I beg. I'd rather use that money to buy a phone or to play sports bets and all sort of nonsense. Not knowing that the sacrifice he makes today is what is going to give him depth for tomorrow and build his roots and make him a very strong tree that can weather the storm and wind. So you see, for me, if you look at the life of a security manager, anytime he gets into a position, he wants to improve himself. He wants a better pay. So what does he do? He goes back to school, probably adds a degree on criminology or security and intelligence studies, probably add a certification or two to make his base very strong and make him grow. So, and this is as a result of what? Him joining the right association. You see most security managers, they're in ASIS, they're in NIIS, they're in so many associations. They attend various certification, conferences, symposium. But how many guards do you see do the same? How many guards? Because they are really not interested in their growth. So if you're a guard, I challenge you today, find yourself in the midst of the right people. Network with the right persons that can help you to grow. Without the right people, you will not grow. What made me different from my colleague when I started as a guard was because I had the right advice and I acted upon the right advice. So even in the midst of thorns, I still grew because my roots were so strong and my stem was so strong to push out the thorns around me, and I became who I am today. So we've come to the fourth seed. And the fourth seed is about the seed that fell on good soil. And that tells us the importance, the strategic investments we put on our careers. Don't just say, and if you look at that parable, the seed that fell on good ground they produce 20, 30, 60, and all different variations of yield. But one thing was certain, they yielded. So when you invest in your security education, your security profession, your security career, you invest your time to learn new things, what happens? You must surely grow. The growth may not be instant. The growth may be in 20-fold. The growth may be in 30, 40, 50, 60-fold, but you will surely grow. That is one thing that is certain when you invest in your security education and your networking and a lot of, you keep learning new things. You understand the landscape, the threat landscape, you understand different specialization in security, and you pick a niche for yourself where you can perform better than others, where you are outstanding. So that is the seed we want to all be. Emulate that fourth seed that fell on the ground. That seed that must surely grow. Take your time. Don't be discouraged. When you fall on that good soil, gain depth, gain strength to weather the storm, gain root to go down into, to dig down into the soil and gain strength firmly, and for you to be able to stand firmly. That is what the third seed talks about. So you see that there's the wisdom in Jesus' parable of the sower. So I tell you today, keep looking at these things deeply. Go through this video again and understand that there is nothing that Jesus said that's brought with so much wisdom and depth that you cannot relate with any aspect of your life, as I just did in security operation. Thank you very much. I see you in the next video. So like, subscribe, turn on the notification button so that you can always be alerted when we drop new videos. And I'm sure I will need your comments to hear your comments on things that you feel that I can talk about next time, or things that I've said that you really want me to explain further. Thank you very much, and God bless you.